This is a production of WTVI PBS Charlotte.
Just ahead on Carolina Impact.
Well, it's not homeschooling, but it is school at home. I'm Jeff Sonnier. Stick around. We'll have details on North Carolina's first venture into K-12 online classrooms coming up.
Plus, conducting like this requires years of training and practice. We'll have an interview with the Charlotte Symphony's Christopher Warren Green. And
not all art hangs on the wall. Coming up, I'll show you some tiny but tasty masterpieces.
Don't go anywhere. Carolina Impact starts right now.
WTVI PBS Charlotte presents Carolina Impact, covering the issues, people, and places that impact you. This is Carolina Impact. Funding for Carolina Impact is provided by the members of WTVI PBS Charlotte and by
the Philip L. Van Avery Foundation is pleased to support our region's arts organizations and artists with profiles and feature stories on Carolina Impact.
Good evening. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Amy Burkett. When's the last time your home computer saved you a trip to the store or the bank or the office? Yep, online shopping, bill paying, and messaging can make daily life a little less hectic and a little more convenient. But how about online schooling for your kids? Other states have been doing it for years now. North Carolina is joining the class, experimenting with 2 new online charter public schools, and maybe changing the way we look at education. Carolina Impact's Jeff Sonnier joins us with details.
Hi, Amy. We're in a classroom, as you can see here at, well, actually, we could be at just about any school, I suppose. And it's not just these classroom surroundings that are so familiar to most of us. You know the drill. School usually starts between 8 and 9. Classes go until about 2 or 3 in the afternoon. In the morning, carpool lines and buses dropping kids off. In the afternoon, picking kids up. Same old, same old. But for about 1,500 families in North Carolina, this year is different because this year, instead of them coming to school, school is coming to them. If you're a parent, then you already know your child's classroom today, minus all the technology, of course, doesn't look a whole lot different than your own classroom did when you were in school.
Meet George Jetson. His boy Elroy.
And then there's the classroom of the future.
The total sum of the trigonomic syndrome divided by the supersonic equation.
Very good, Elroy Jetson. Now 1 second while I check over your answer.
But it looks like that Jetsons version of schools in the sky and robot teachers was a little off, because the real future...
Ava, tell me what we are going to do next in your best math vocabulary.
Subtract 8 from 14.
Maybe an online classroom. The teacher connecting with kids from all over the state.
Hey, we'll start with a little bit of chatting.
All learning together on laptops, right from home.
What I call is rethinking education is what we're trying to do.
Nathan Curry is principal of North Carolina Connections Academy, one of 2 new North Carolina online public charter schools funded this year by the state legislature. Connections Academy kids learn the same state-approved lessons and take the same tests as other public schoolers and charter schoolers. What they don't have are all the normal school buildings or buses or bell schedules.
We're just schooled at home. We have North Carolina certified teachers that's providing that instruction. We're staying busy. We're at our capacity, which is 1,500, and we have a waiting list. So things are going much better than we anticipated.
6th grader Emma Heiso is one of those new Connections Academy kids. So is her 3rd grade sister, Ava.
Both girls are gymnasts, and Ava trains 22 hours a week, Emma trains 24 hours a week, and we realized if we didn't do some sort of special school, we didn't see Dad because we were gone every single night. The good thing about North Carolina Connections Academy is they still have teachers, they still have peers, we still do field trips. Like Emma, she has a teacher for every subject, just like all other middle schoolers in this state. And then Ava, of course, has the one teacher, just like all other elementary kids in the state. So it's worked out perfectly. So both girls, they train in the afternoons, in school, and then at night Daddy gets to help out with math or science and whatever's left over, and we still get to spend time together as a family.
So, I'd like to introduce myself if I haven't already. My name is Alan. I'm with Connections Academy.
These online school info sessions over the summer also attracted lots of homeschool families looking for something a little different.
Well, homeschooling has been okay, but I think that I'm not the best teacher for him. I feel he needs some sort of traditional, without being totally traditional, help from a teacher.
Charlotte parent Tiffany Rogers says she heard about Connections Academy from her friends in South Carolina.
We all have the same goal to provide the best education possible for our students.
Which started its online school program 7 years ago in Columbia and now serves almost 3,000 kids statewide. Many in North Carolina are now drawn by that same Connections Academy promise of professional educators and state-approved lessons and testing.
We wanted something with a little more structure.
Without surrendering their freedom from traditional schools and classrooms.
Where we could still have one-on-one attention with our kids, but at the same time have some oversight with their curriculum from teachers who teach that age group all the time.
Do you see yourself in competition with the traditional K-12 public schools?
Well, absolutely not. We're just an option, another option for parents to choose.
By the way, we mentioned that North Carolina Connections Academy is one of 2 new online public charter schools in North Carolina this year. The other one is called North Carolina Virtual Academy. Different operators, but the same or similar concept. And the state is watching both new online schools closely for possible expansion to more kids of the future if those online schools are successful. Amy?
Thanks so much, Jeff. North Carolina becomes the 27th state to launch an online Connections Academy school. All are publicly funded and tuition-free, with state tax dollars paying the parent company of Connections Academy to operate the schools. Any North Carolina student can enroll. Mecklenburg is the online school's #1 county in the state for enrollment, with 200 students currently signed up. Well, from making sure our kids do their homework to finishing up dinner, our work life and chores at home can be stressful, but music always helps me unwind. For more than 80 years, the Charlotte Symphony Orchestra has given our region the gift of high-quality music. Christopher Warren Green leads the Charlotte Symphony and recently sat down with Carolina Impact's Jeff Rivenbark to tell us more.
When he's conducting, his body moves to the music, punctuating the high and low parts of a piece while pouring himself into every wave of the baton.
You know, almost every concert is a fabulous highlight.
Joining the symphony in 2010, Maestro Christopher Warren Green says he's always loved music, even as a boy.
I think I started to sing in a church choir at 7 and decided there and then this is what I was going to do.
Although his work life revolves around classical music, he enjoys other styles too.
Yeah, I'd have to say that my favorite rock band is the Beatles.
In addition to working with the Charlotte Symphony, he conducts the London Chamber Orchestra. And when the British royal family has a special occasion involving music, they call the maestro.
One of the greatest thrills was doing the music and conducting the orchestra for 2 royal weddings, Prince Charles and the Duchess of Cornwall's wedding, and also Prince William's and the Duchess of Cambridge's recent wedding.
A member of the Charlotte Symphony for 17 years, Cynthia Frank says she enjoys working with the maestro.
It's a lot easier for us to play with someone who we can trust and we know what he's going to do, and he knows the music so well. Like tonight, he was doing it from memory, so we're lucky to work with him. Yeah, it helps us.
You have to enable those great musicians in front of you to give their absolute inner self. And if you're just a dictator who, you know, does this kind of thing and intimidates people, they're not going to give their hearts. They'll play well, but they won't give you what's in their heart.
And musicians who play with passion trigger a range of emotions with the audience.
It was perfect into this week. Like I'm just finally sitting still and taking it in, and like the unexpected, it just will go up and then soft and up and soft, and it's very nice.
It's enrichment, it's depth, it's just beautiful music. It's great fun to come out and have that kind of deep experience.
We are incredibly fortunate.
Charlotte Symphony President and CEO Bob Stickler says the maestro brings a high level of artistry.
He has taken a good orchestra and is making it into a great orchestra. He continues to build the orchestra. But what I think is as important is what the maestro does outside the concert hall.
Stickler says the maestro loves promoting music education programs for youth.
He is committed to the idea that music can be a transforming force both for students in terms of growing up to be responsible adults and in terms of bringing the community together.
Warren Green is the 11th music director to lead the Charlotte Symphony Orchestra. Outside Belk Theater, and less than a block away, the old Carolina Theater stands, boarded up, a relic of Charlotte's past. The Charlotte Symphony held its first concert here in 1932. G.S. Day Roxlow was the symphony's first music director. According to this 1935 newspaper article, De Roxlow believed the Charlotte Symphony would fill a need in the musical life of the city by offering an opportunity to its musicians to study and perform the music of the great masters. Over the years, the symphony has continued that tradition and today employs 62 full-time professional musicians. Last year, the symphony presented nearly 100 performances throughout the region. So if you've never been to a symphony, Stickler offers this advice.
I would say to them that put aside all of your stereotypes about what happens in the concert hall and give it a try. And come dressed as you feel comfortable. Come on in, clap when you want to clap. You don't have to be an aficionado. You can be somebody who's just tasting it.
Nearly an hour into the concert, Maestro Warren Green maintains high energy.
Every single concert you play is as though you're playing for your life and that you will never play again. Every concert is important.
And by aiming for 110% at every concert, may be the key to the Charlotte Symphony's continued growth year after year. For Carolina Impact, I'm Jeff Rivenpark reporting.
Thanks, Jeff. Each year, the Charlotte Symphony gives a free concert to every fifth grader in Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools, as well as educational concerts for private and homeschooled children. For more information, head to our website at pbscharlotte.org. Well, it is that time of year, time to enjoy the area and go and do a little exploration throughout the Tar Heel State. I've got a special guest joining me now with some suggestions. Heidi Bellato is a Charlotte culinary expert. Heidi, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
So I could say it's wine season, but I think you would correct me and say that
it's always wine season.
Okay.
But it's a good thing to talk about seasonal product and local food. You know, agriculture is this state's biggest industry. And a big part of that is the wine industry. So we have lots of farmers growing grapes, and they grow them on vineyards. There's over 400 vineyards in the state and over 100 wineries. So it's a big billion-dollar industry here.
Now help people understand, there are lots in the area that we could go do a little outing over the weekend.
Absolutely.
Where are some of your favorites?
They're so close, and they're so close to Charlotte. So I have a lot of favorites, and all of them make for a good trip. But I love to go to Hanover Park. It's a very little winery right outside of Winston-Salem, but there's an old barn there, and Amy and Michael are great hosts that they own it and are the winemakers. I love to go to Rayland Vineyards. Shelton is a fun vineyard to go to, a fun winery to go to because it's huge. It's big. You can see the whole operation. You will learn from A to Z how they treat the grapes, grow the grapes, make the wine, age it, all of that. So you get the whole program. Then there's some other little ones that are just small and in people's backyards or in their barns. And it's all over. So the Yadkin Valley is not far from here. If you go to Winston-Salem, that's really kind of a gateway city to the Yadkin Valley. Raffaldini is a beautiful vineyard. It's an old Italian, or made to look like an old Italian villa, and lots to do there.
So I need some education.
Okay.
I confess to not being a wine connoisseur, but you have shared some information about the 5 S's, I believe it is. So let's have a little example.
Okay, so the 5 S's are what you need to know so you look like you know what you're doing.
Okay.
The truth is, you just are going to drink the wine.
Okay.
And none of this other stuff matters, but it's kind of fun. So we're going to pour some Rayland Cabernet Sauvignon. It's a great red. Raylan does a great job and has some wonderful wines. And so the first one is to see the wine. Now we have a black counter in front of us, so that's not a good setup for a wine tasting. You really want something white. I'm going to just turn your notes over for 1 second. So if you look at the wine onto a white piece of paper, you see the color of the wine, and that's what you're looking for. And when you're first starting, that really doesn't matter so much. But as you do it, you start to see how wines, I'm going to hold that, let me do this. There we go. How wines are different colors based on what kind of grape it is. Okay. So once you learn, as you start to learn, you learn that a Cabernet Sauvignon grape is maybe a deeper color than a Pinot Noir grape, for example.
And what will have the best flavor?
They all have great flavor.
Okay.
So the color has nothing to do with the flavor, but you're just looking at it. Now the next S is to swirl. So you just are going to swirl like that. You can pick up the glass and do it, but it's easier if you leave the stem on the table. You want to try?
Okay.
Show your hand at it, and then you can have your notes back.
Doesn't look as cool as when
so
you
the
did. I'm getting better.
swirling, you're doing great. All that does is work oxygen into the wine. And the oxygen helps to open up the flavor. So the wine's been bottled up and kind of cooped up in there. And red wines are bottled longer because they're aged longer than white wines are. So so when you swirl, that kind of works the oxygen into it. Now there's all these gadgets you can buy now that are wine aerators that'll kind of do that for you. But
that takes the fun out of it.
It does. And just opening the bottle, that's a little space, the size of a quarter. That doesn't aerate a wine very well. It's the swirling of it, or perhaps pouring it into a decanter, that really does that for you. So then you're going to smell it. After you work up the oxygen and get the wine moving around, if you just stick your nose in there, and you can only smell for a couple of seconds. There's no point holding your nose in there for a minute. You're not going to smell that long. But you can get a smell of the grapes. So if you swirl and then smell, then you can get the taste of it. Lots of times when you go into big wine tastings, they'll pour the wine in advance, and then they put a glass saucer on the top so that the aroma doesn't go out into the air. So when you lift that saucer up, you get this beautiful aroma.
Running out of time, I want to get to the other S's.
Whoops. Then you sip. So you just take a little sip. Always a fun reason to share wine with somebody.
Right.
So you sip. You savor that taste, and then if you're on a big wine tasting, big tour, you got to spit, or you have to dump it into a bucket or something, because there's no way you can swallow it all. It's
you can't even have a designated driver to help you on that one?
Well, you could, but if you're going to 4 or 5 wineries, even with a designated driver, you want to be able to walk into the place. So those are the 5 steps, and then you just enjoy it. And the truth is, you just drink the wine that you like. And just enjoy it and make the most of it. North Carolina has a lot of great wines to offer.
So some great fall celebrations to go out and explore this wonderful
Absolutely. If people go online to each individual winery, or you can go to ncwine.org, and that'll connect you with all the wineries. You can see all the fall festivals. Lots of them have concert series and movie series. A lot of them have restaurants. A lot of them have farms.
Heidi Bellotto, culinary expert here in Charlotte. We're so glad that you brought educated me a little bit on wine, and I think it'll be a lot of fun.
My pleasure.
From drinks to dessert, think back to the last time you went to a wedding. Aside from the beautiful bride, the cake was likely the other star attraction. According to America's Small Business Development Center, retail bakeries across the country generate $3.8 billion each and every year. When it comes to cake decorating, anything goes. Carolina Impact's Danielle Koser takes us to a South Charlotte cake shop, serving up flavor with a flair.
Sugar. Oh, honey, honey. No candy here, but plenty of sugar goes into making sweet treats at Edible Art Cake Shop.
We've built our reputation on our pound cake recipes. We still use fresh ingredients. We don't use cake mixes or cut corners.
Owner Jackie Southwell says the shop has been a cornerstone of this Myers Park neighborhood for the last 24 years.
It doesn't feel like I'm coming to work when I come in the morning.
A castle-shaped cake is just one of the decadent desserts tempting customers from the window. The bakery is known for its detailed designs.
On this episode of Cake Boss,
think TLC's Cake Boss on the local level.
I've always really been interested in artsy things.
Kristen Bosch studied baking and pastry arts at Johnson & Wales University here in Charlotte. Using buttercream as her canvas, she transforms a signature 6-inch almond pound cake into a sweet birthday treat, topped with pink flowers.
It's one of our standard designs, so it's got pretty drop flowers on it in different colors.
To her left, Liz Kruckemeyer uses water to glue fondant stripes to the side of a cake. The thick paste, made mostly of sugar and water, is an edible icing used to decorate or sculpt sweets.
I like that I get to actually make something every day.
With a degree in drawing and painting, she traded in her sketchbook for a spatula, using cake and fondant as mediums to create edible art.
Learning the structure of doing any sort of 3D piece has helped with trying to figure out the structure for cake.
Kruckemeyer says she's not afraid of a challenge. Recently, she created this elaborate 6-tier cake, paying homage to a bride and groom's alma maters, the University of Virginia and Auburn University. Topping the cake, the University of Virginia's historic rotunda. Iconic oak trees frame the sides, a replica of Toomer's Corner, where Auburn fans celebrate sports victories by throwing toilet paper into the trees. This cake started as a sketch.
I think that it's easier for people to visualize what the final project is going to be if I can draw it for them.
For these artists, it's all about taking a concept and turning it into a creation. Complex cakes like these can take about 20 hours to make.
It's also important to have that art background where you can really make the cake pop and, do something that creates a piece of art.
These culinary creators focus on art fundamentals like composition and contrast, using the 7 elements of art: lines, shapes, forms, values, colors, textures, and spaces to raise the bar for edible art.
It's just a form of expression where you get to interpret what the client wants into a cake form.
One of the things that I really love being able to do is using the buttercream and icing to draw and to paint.
Combining creativity and critical thinking skills, employees find ways to defy gravity using edible ingredients like gum paste, a sugar dough that hardens as it dries, making it ideal to create delicate 3D shapes like flowers and bows.
I really enjoy when they do something different each time for every customer.
Sandy Kreif says this is her go-to place for baked goods.
I really like to encourage people to shop local, and I try to do that pretty often myself.
Southwell says the bakery sells more than 60 cakes each week to customers like Kreif, helping them celebrate special milestones with stunning sugar sculptures.
My favorite day of the week is Saturday. Saturday is when most of our clients will pick up their cakes for the weekend parties.
Just getting to see people's reactions when they come pick up the cake, and it's better than what they expected.
United by a background in baking and a love for art, Southwell says the team here takes pride in creating cakes.
I'm passionate about cake decorating, and I really enjoy working with people who share the same interests that I do and are just as excited about creating a beautiful cake.
From frosting in the form of a teddy bear to a garden of gum paste flowers, everything on these cakes is edible. Southwell says for her team, every day is an adventure, combining a time-tested pound cake recipe with intricate artwork to ensure these masterpieces taste as good as they look. For Carolina Impact, I'm Danielle Koser reporting.
Thanks so much, Danielle. I really feel like falling off the wagon right now and having some cake. How about you? Well, Edible Art's standard 6-inch pound cake starts at $42. But the more complex the cake, the higher the price tag. The groom's cake you saw with the 2 alma maters on it cost over $800. Workers tell us some elaborate multi-tiered cakes sell for more than $1,000. We've got a link to Edible Art Cake Shop on our website at pbscharlotte.org. Just as weddings usher the beginning of an exciting new chapter in our lives, so do retirements. For many Americans, retirement is a moving target. According to the Gallup poll, the average worker retires before the age of 65, but a number of folks choose to keep working. When we heard how long the next man you're about to meet has been working, we sent Carolina Impact's Jason Terzes out to meet him.
For 65 years, it's been a Charlotte institution.
Not another furniture showroom like this.
Generations of customers have come and gone.
All my friends are amazed that A, he's still here, and B, he's still here at the store.
But on October 31st, the Colony Furniture Store will close its doors for the final time.
Frankly, I think it's a shame for Charlotte.
Come November 1st, the store will fall silent.
It's time. The time's right.
That's because Merrill Gaddis has decided to retire a few weeks shy of his 91st birthday. Opened in 1950 at the corner of Colony and Selwyn, the Colony Furniture Store took its name from the street it was on. Gaddis opened the store after serving in the U.S. Navy during World War II. When the Charlotte native returned home from the war, he somehow found himself working in the furniture business.
A friend used to say he decided he would stay in the business until he found something else he liked better to do, and I never found anything that I liked better to do, so I stayed in the furniture business.
After nearly a decade at its original location, Gaddis took the store and the name to its current spot at 811 Providence Road. That's where he's been serving customers for more than half a century. Gaddis made sure to stock unique items, antiques, classic reproductions, and custom fabrics, and it worked. Colony not only survived, but thrived, offering customers competitive prices and access to decorators who were always on hand to help plan the specifics of every room.
They have things here that are unique that other people don't have. They have great service in terms of, what they can find for you. Most of the pieces I've bought up until now have been upholstered. And I can't think of any place else that I would go that I would trust.
Hey, all right, I like that. We really can.
Customers old and new have been streaming in, some with tears, others with smiles. Over the years, many of those customers have become more like family members, and the decision to retire has been bittersweet for them, as well as Gaddis's real family. Daughter Linda has grown up with the store. That's her working the phones as a 3-year-old at the original store.
It was always a part of our family. It was like having another sibling in the family, because he devoted as much attention to this store development as he did to my brothers and my development. So it was like having a third child in the family.
Funny thing is, Linda has already retired from her profession, while her dad has just kept on working.
I've already retired. My husband has too, and Dad just kept on going. We called him the Energizer Bunny because he refused to give in to illness. He refused to give in to the hard economic period.
Even at 90 years old and 65 years in business, the decision to finally retire didn't come easy for Gaddis. He put it off for many years because he simply enjoyed what he was doing and felt an obligation to his employees. So why now?
I decided I would rather walk out than be rolled out on a gurney. That's really what made the decision. Almost 91. In a few weeks I'll be 91, and I decided that was long enough.
Come November, Gaddis says he wants to relax and do some traveling with wife Gail, who spent 45 years working in the store herself as vice president and art decorator.
It was just time. It was time for us personally, and it was time for us as a store just to move on to the next chapter in our lives.
I'd like to thank all of the loyal customers that allowed us to stay in business 65 years. Without them, we couldn't have done it, and I couldn't have done all my life what I enjoyed doing.
For Carolina Impact, I'm Jason Terzis.
What an incredible career. Thanks so much for sharing that story, Jason. Colony Furniture closes October 31st, and if you're wondering what Mr. Gaddis plans to do with all his free time, he tells us he plans to do some international travel and catch up on his reading. If you have a suggestion for an interesting profile or segment you'd like to see on Carolina Impact, we'd love to hear from you. Please send us an email to carolinaimpact@wtvi.org with all the details. Don't forget, we're giving away family 4-packs to the Carolina Renaissance Festival. But in order to win, you need to friend us on Facebook. Please give us a like. We've got more 4-packs to the Renaissance Festival to give away yet this month. Well, that's all the time we have for this week. From all of us here at WTVI PBS Charlotte, thanks so much for joining us. We hope to see you back here again next time. Good night, my friends.
Funding for Carolina Impact is provided by the members of WTVI PBS Charlotte and by
the Philip L. Van Avery Foundation is pleased to support our region's arts organizations and artists with profiles and feature stories on Carolina Impact.
a production of WTVI PBS Charlotte.